Hey everybody, this is another episode of What Ted Says, and boy, you have asked a lot of questions about being a small business owner and what you could deduct, so I thought I would give you the 2023 mileage rules. First of all, a lot of people want to know, and I've had a lot of questions on What Ted Says about business mileage deduction. So let's be clear that there are two methods. There's the standard mileage rate method, and then there's also the actual expense method. And this is something that you're going to have to look at depending upon your situation. So remember that you can claim deductions for every business mile driven. I've been asked often about this notion of commute to and from to work, which you can't. But if you're a salesperson or you're a business owner, you have to think about where you're going before work. Maybe you do some marketing or things like that. You have to be smart about it as you do it. But we're currently going to be at 65.5 cents per mile right now this year for mileage from January 1, 2023 until December 1, 2023. So what does this mean? If you did 10,000 business miles in this case, it would be roughly a $6,550 tax deduction. The other part of this is that you could go at this with the actual expense method, and that means potentially, depending upon, again, you've got to be self-employed, because no longer can you do the 2106 forms on your itemized deductions that went away for people that are employees, which is why it's important to be thinking about my videos I do on here about starting an LLC and thinking about what you may do tax-wise. But depreciation of the car, some of you may qualify for the 179 deduction depending upon the weight of the car, but lease payments, it could be gas and oil, tires, repairs, insurance or partial pieces of the insurance, registration fees, parking fees and tolls, and potentially garage rent depending upon the city that you're in. So I really encourage you when you look at this to say, should I use actual expenses for the deductions I'm going to take for my car if I'm a 1099 or I have a side hustle, or should I go at the standard mileage method? And this is going to be important because remember, it didn't get enacted last year, but this year it's looking like if you make $600, especially if you're using PayPal or Venmo, and these are business items, you're going to essentially have to declare that income. So it's important that you understand what expenses that you can actually take. Mileage has been a big one. I would be looking at that. A lot of people ask me, how do I track this? There are a number of apps that you can use to track this. You can use a journal. Some people try to make a rough estimate, but remember, if you're called out by the IRS, you're going to have to justify the mileage that you took. That's why it's best to have a calendar and have the actual mileage. It's a way a lot of the big systems work, like Concur, when you're an employee for a big company that actually look at the mileage and the trips, and that's an easy way to do it. So think about this. Put your questions in the comments box. I answer these all the time, and that's the 2023 mileage expenses for What Ted Says.